On today's episode of Uncut Gems with Slim.
God done seen your whole movie. While you on here on the roller coaster, oh my God, who Lord, who Jesus, am I gonna get through it? Da, da, da. He know the end. If we don't have patience, if we can't wait patiently for what he's already ordained over our lives, then it's like we don't trust that what he did was right. Hey y'all, welcome back for another episode of Uncut Gems with Slim. It's your girl Slim Reshae, and we are back with episode 9 of season 1, Real Life Goals. And today's episode is titled Patience is a Virtue. And so before we get into the juice and the gems for the week, I want to check in with y'all, see how y'all Turkey Day was, how y'all Black Friday was. Like, did y'all go shopping? I hope you guys enjoyed your families and friends during this holiday season. And for Black Friday, did you guys do any shopping? Like, what's tea? What's good? What sales did y'all get? I hope y'all saved some coins and didn't ball out too much. For me, I ain't really did too much shopping. I've just been like looking at different things, and what I've been doing is putting things that I want on this goal reward list. And so it's almost like when you have those rewards programs at different restaurants and stores where once you reach a certain point, you get your free meal or whatever. So for me, I have like, once I reach 1,000 followers on this channel, that I can buy something off my Go Rewards list. And so if that's something that interests you, I definitely recommend you to check it out, and it'll kind of help you not make as many impulse purchases and make you kind of work towards your goal, and then purchasing something as like a reward for yourself. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. This week, I don't have as many notes as I usually do, so I may ramble a little bit and go off the dome, but lately, I feel like this year has literally been the year of me learning how to be patient. And I am patient to a certain degree. But the Lord has been showing me that I am not patient enough. And I say that because I've had different instances where it's just caused me to stop and be like, you know what? There is nothing that I can do. And so I just have to be patient for the solution to come. And I'm going to give you guys a few examples. And so one most recent one, so I told you guys last week that I had to go to New York for some family stuff. And when we flew to New York, it was a one-way nonstop into LaGuardia, right? So we up in the air. This is a 2-hour flight, barely 2 hours. And so we flying, right? And we get to a certain point, and the pilot comes on the intercom, and he's like, hey guys, like, oh, he not like, hey guys, but he's like, y'all, the people who tell them where to go is saying that there is bad weather in New York. There's a storm coming in. And so they instructed him to hover over wherever we was at until the storm passes, right? So at this point, I'm like, yo, it's giving real manifest vibes. Like, I'm not trying to land and be young and my sister and all that be grown. And so after a little while of circling, because he was like, it might be like 20 minutes, he comes back on the system and he's like, okay, that storm passed, but another one's coming in. And so because we don't have enough gas, we gonna have to land the plane. Me? What?
Real quick, I just wanted to take a moment and pause and ask, are you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe to us on all podcast streaming platforms and check out the visual on YouTube at Uncut Gems with Slim. Lastly, don't forget we are also on Instagram. Follow us on Insta to get motivational snippets, episode highlights, and so much more. Now, let's get back to today's episode.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm chill because I'd rather you land this plane wherever you got to land it than you try to fly through some storm, okay? Like, I want to be safe. I value my life, all that. So, okay, cool. We about to divert, right? So we divert the plane. We land in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Never heard of it. ABE, that's where we landed. And so when we got there, they were like, oh, we don't have no information. As we get it, we'll tell you. Woody woo. We parked at the back of the parking lot, y'all. Like, we ain't nowhere close to the terminal. And they're like, okay, we can't deplane because we ain't at no terminal. So we gonna have to sit on a plane. They gonna gas us up and then we'll be able to go. So here's another 30 minutes. We're sitting in the parking lot on the plane. Can't move, can't go nowhere. Mind you, one of the toilets in the plane was broke. So everybody, we was at the back of the plane. Everybody kept coming to the back of the plane to use the toilet. So after all of that, the guy gets on the PA and we thinking we about to be cleared to go, right? And he's like, oh, they just did a no ground order or whatever where nothing can go in or fly out of LaGuardia. And I'm like, dog, like, I thought it was just supposed to be a little drizzle, little showers in the afternoon. I didn't think it was supposed to be a whole storm or whatever. And so basically, after sitting there for about 30 minutes, they was like, okay, we're going to pull up to the terminal so y'all can get off and use the restroom and whatever until they give us clearance to go. So we pull up, get to the terminal, we deplane, we use the restroom, we get us a little snack, and we had to sit there like another hour or so. So at this point, we were supposed to land in LaGuardia at 2. At this point, it's almost 6, right? 6 in the afternoon or in the evening. And so then they like start planning. All the other people who were diverted, like they started letting them board first. And so we was like the last plane to get back on. So we finally get back on, get up in the air. Everything was clear. We landed in LaGuardia. It was probably about 8 p.m. So that was 6 hours of my patience being tested, because I could have been like some people who were on the plane who had like an attitude. They was pissed at the captain or the pilot. They was pissed at the little flight attendants. And at the end of the day, this is built up patience that I've built so far. And so I wasn't like super pressed or super annoyed, because I'm like, you know what? If that was me and that was my job, like they did all that they could do. Like there's nothing else you could do. If the person you listen to, your head, whatever, is telling you you can't fly nowhere, you can't fly nowhere. And that's what it is. And so I've learned to take things at face value, what it is, and not focus on like the emotion behind it, but just what can be done. If nothing can be done, then you might as well just sit. Just like people who stand up before you can get off the plane. There's no point in standing up, honey, because you can't go nowhere. And so anyway, the point of that story was to tell you we were diverted for 6 hours, and that is definitely a test of patience. Another example is when I went to Miami over the summer, y'all, we had a flight nonstop, boom, get to Miami, cool. We go to get the rental car. When I tell you the line is like looped around, like it is looped. I ain't never seen a line this long before in my life, I don't think. And so we get in line. It literally loops around the whole rental car area at the Miami airport, because we was with budget, because you know we got to save our coins. And so it literally, like, there was a lady in front of us and she was like, oh my gosh, like this is a 3-hour line, blah blah blah. She's getting all emotional, and I'm like, well girl, if you need a rental car and you book with them, then what else you gonna do but stand in this line? And so we stand in the line. At first I was like, oh, she tripping, like it ain't gonna be 3 hours for y'all. It wound up being almost a 3-hour wait from the time we got in the line to the time we got to the car. It was ridiculous. But in that moment, again, it was a test of patience. Like, what could I do about it? Wallow on the floor, throw a tantrum, was not gonna give me my car quicker, okay? And so like that was another thing. And then like I've probably said multiple times through my channel and on the podcast about my issues with my car. My goodness, I feel like anytime the devil want to nitpick with me, he gonna come at it through my car. And y'all, I've had different experience with my belt broke and was all twisted up in there. That was a test of patience. I say all that to say patience is a virtue. It's something that you need. It's a real life goal. Like without patience, like you're not going to get too far in life. You're not going to be able to be happy like we talked about last week if you don't acquire patience. And I was looking up different things to kind of tie into this message. And of course, I tried to find me a little scripture to tie in. And I came to Romans 8:25. And the easy to read version says, "But we are hoping for something we don't have yet, and we are waiting for it patiently." And basically, if you're hoping for something, that means that you have faith. Like, I'm hoping for a husband that loves me, that appreciates me, and all that stuff Sierra said in her prayer. I'm hoping for that husband. And if I'm hoping for that thing, that means I have faith that I will have that husband. And when you have faith in something, that means whatever it is that you're waiting on hasn't come to fruition yet. And I also looked up the English Standard Version, and that version states, "But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." It wasn't an option. Patience isn't presented as an option. It's presented as a condition. If you hope for what you do not see, you wait for it with patience. Like it wasn't like you can wait patiently. It was we wait for it with patience. And so by reading this, I take from it that if you have faith, you must have patience. And most of the time when we lack patience, we lack faith. And so by displaying a lack of patience and in turn lacking faith, it means we don't truly believe that what we're waiting for is worth it or that what we want will come to pass. And so by lacking that patience, you're lacking trust in God's perfect timing. Like, have you ever watched a show or a movie? I'm good for this. I watch a movie. Like, if I want to watch something, I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to watch the whole thing. I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to watch the whole series. Like, I'm not waiting on my watch buddy. Like, if we watching, you need to be as dedicated as I am dedicated to finish that show or movie. But when it comes to those kind of things, a lot of times I run into a situation where, like, if I'm watching a show with my mom, I'm like all the way up to date. She might only watch the first 2 episodes. And so then when we sit down to watch episode 3 together, a lot of times I catch myself like looking over at her when I know a certain part's coming up, or I'm not as on edge. I'm not as shocked when things happen because I've seen it already, right? And so equally so, if you trust that God knows what's next and that his timing is perfect, you would worry less too. Like, you get what I'm saying? God done seen your whole movie. While you on here on the roller coaster, oh my God, who Lord, who Jesus, am I gonna get through it? Da, da, da. He know the end. He done been there beginning and Alpha Omega, okay? He knows the end and he knows what's before you and he timed it out perfectly. So it's like, if we don't have patience, if we can't wait patiently for what he's already ordained over our lives, for what he's already put on our timeline, then it's like we don't trust that what he did was right or what he did is at the time that it's supposed to come, like those kind of things, because we're rushing stuff when we don't need to be rushing it. And with that being said, I think we need to be patient more and worry less. And I'm gonna wrap this up by talking about the story. I don't know where it's at in the Bible because y'all know I ain't the strongest of the Bible readers, but y'all know if Jesus can sleep on the boat during the tsunami, y'all know the storm when he been asleep at the back and the people was worried, then If he can sleep through a tsunami on a boat, because he know the plan that God has for him, why can't you wait in that Walmart line? Because you know they ain't got no more cash registers and cashiers at there. You could wait through that line. Because guess what? Ain't nothing going to change for you hooping and hollering, but you waiting to get through the line. Come on. If he can sleep through a tsunami, if he is patient, he not only patient, okay? Because if he wasn't patient, he would have start pulling the lifeboat down on the side, start doing all this other stuff, trying to prepare for this and prepare for that. But he trusted what God had for him. And so he's chilling, he's asleep. So like, why can't we just chill and be patient and know that God has good things coming towards you? Patience is a virtue. Be patient more, worry less. That's all I got. Next week, I'm hoping to get a guest on the podcast to wrap up this season and wrap up episode 10 for you guys. So make sure you guys subscribe down below so you don't miss an upload. Share this to your family, friends, loved ones, all of them people. Share it so they can start achieving their real life goals. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I love y'all so very much. And until next week.